I want you to close your eyes for a moment. The year is 1986. Picture yourself on a spaceship, traveling back in time to a destination incomparable in ridiculous splendor and extravagant excess in a galaxy far, far away. You're making your descent into the heart of Europe, where the illustrious Thurn and Taxis family is gearing up to throw the most outrageous party the continent has ever seen. Your spaceship gently lands on the sprawling grounds of a 500-room Bavarian castle, a fortress of untamed luxury that would make even the most seasoned millionaire gasp. You take a deep breath, shake off the interstellar jet lag, and walk headfirst into the eccentric, jaw-dropping, and insanely over-the-top world of Prince Johannes's 60th birthday bash, hosted by none other than his audacious and headstrong wife, Princess Gloria, nicknamed Princess TNT. At the center of this storm of excess, you'll find a birthday cake. But this is not your typical run-of-the-mill supermarket sheet cake. This is a monumental tribute to the man of the hour, decorated with 60 marzipan phallic symbols. We'll call it that to keep cool with our YouTube overlords, one for each of the prince's audacious, boundary-pushing years. Around you, the glitterati of the world are swirling in a dance of extravagance. The champagne is flowing like the river Danube. The music echoes through the castle's stone corridors, and the laughter and chattering of socialites, rock stars, fashion icons, and blue-blooded aristocracy blend into a symphony of affluence and influence. Snap back to reality. Glad to have you back with us. Your first question, I'd venture, is, what just happened to you? Well, allow me to elaborate here on today's episode of Old Money Luxury, as we take you on a journey through the wild and wonderful world of the party animals of old money Europe, the Thurn and Taxis dynasty. Now, looking back, if there's anything to be said about the Thurn and Taxis family, it's that they've got longevity. They've managed to stand the test of time, harking back to the 12th century, when they were known as the Counts della Torre. These Italian gentry settled in picturesque Cornello, following a bitter struggle for the glimmering city of Milan. Family legends spin an interesting yarn. The Taxis are direct descendants of these Counts della Torre, and it seems Emperor Ferdinand III was more than happy to buy into this narrative. He handed them the right to use the Count's coat of arms and name, in addition to their own. Thus, from 1650, they've been known as the Thurn and Taxis family. Now here's where it gets really juicy. They didn't just sit back and live off their ancient lineage. The Thurn and Taxis family became the tycoons of postal services, dominating for about 4 centuries. They held the reins of postal systems across Western and Central Europe, even under the Holy Roman Empire, later competing against government services. Picture it, an army of 20,000 horseback riders, thundering across Europe, delivering post from Britain to Bulgaria. Their wealth and prominence blossomed through this empire of letters and strategic marriages into the loftiest of German families. Then you've got Lamoral von Taxis, Postmaster General of the Imperial Reichspost, courtesy of an appointment in 1615 that made the position a family heirloom. Speed up to the 1980s, and Princess Gloria von Thurn and Taxis was setting the world on fire as a socialite and style icon. After losing her husband, she didn't crumble. She rolled up her sleeves, took over the family estates, and transformed a tottering dynasty into a modern, profitable enterprise. Currently, the Thurn and Taxis banner is carried by Prince Albert XII, a philosopher-businessman who's not averse to burning rubber as a race car driver. What a family indeed. Look here, the Thurn and Taxis lot didn't just happen upon a pile of old money and call it a day. No, they made an absolute fortune from running the postal services of Europe for 4 centuries. And not just in one country, oh no. They had the gall to operate across Western and Central Europe, even under the Holy Roman Empire. Their coffers also fattened through strategic marriages, because why just deliver letters when you can deliver heirs into the noblest of German households? To add to their war chest, the family boasts breweries, more castles than one can count on 2 hands scattered across Germany, and 36,000 hectares of woodland. That's a mind-boggling stretch of forest, one of the largest holdings in Europe. Now, preserving such opulence is no child's play. The Thurn and Taxis family spread their wealth, diversifying their investments and businesses. They've sunk their money into commercial real estate, not just in Germany, but also the US and Canada. On top of that, they've dabbled in real estate management, forestry production, and culture at the family's museums and the academic court library, to be precise. For good measure, they've even got their own investment and advisory companies, like Prince Karl Thurn and Taxis Management AG, offering an array of services from real estate management to major real estate developments. Today, the family empire is a veritable cornucopia of businesses and investments. Their fingers are in all sorts of pies: property and real estate, forestry, culture, oil, gas, power, financial services, you name it. The 12th Prince, Albert, is at the helm, a businessman, philosopher and race car driver, who's been dubbed the world's youngest billionaire more than once. Not bad for a lineage that started with delivering post, a staggering $1.6 billion net worth. So, to say that the Thurnand Taxis family has mastered the art of maintaining wealth would be a gross understatement. When it came to throwing the bash of the 20th century, Princess Gloria von Thurn und Taxis likely reigned supreme. And who can forget Prince Johannes's aforementioned 60th birthday bash in 1986? An epic event, so spectacular, it's etched into the annals of aristocratic decadence. Held at the family's Grand Schloss St. Emmeram, the Fête du Siècle involved an array of lavish spectacles: a pontifical mass, a gala dinner, a costume ball, and even a leisurely boat trip on the Danube. The world's glitterati descended upon the castle in their droves, eager to revel in the extravagant festivities. Vanity Fair didn't mince words, dubbing the event aristocracy's most flamboyant anachronism since the Bourbons tumbled, a comparison as decadent as the party itself. Yet another spectacle of note was the costume ball hosted by Princess Gloria herself at their colossal Bavarian palace. Reminiscent of the grandeur of the Marie Antoinette era, it played host to an illustrious guest list that included the Maharaja of Baroda. Not content with their Euro-centered exploits, Princess Gloria and Prince Johannes plunged into the New York nightlife, rubbing shoulders with celebrities and living it up till 5 a.m. In a candid interview with W magazine, Princess Gloria offered a poignant reflection on her spoiled brat period, with no hint of remorse for her wild, fun-loving past. According to her, youth is for the curious and adventurous, and every age has its own modus operandi. It's no wonder that the Thurnand Taxis family has a reputation as the party animals of the European aristocracy. They've retained the allure of high society soirees, while challenging conventions and raising the bar for opulence and imagination. Their legendary events have, undeniably, left a permanent and unmistakable imprint on Europe's social scene. Now, the days of wild partying might have dimmed a bit for the Thurnand Taxis family, but they haven't hung up their party hats just yet. No, they've simply fine-tuned their approach, swapped out the relentless hedonism for a more cultured, inclusive vibe. Princess Gloria, the reigning matriarch of merriment, has made it her mission to fling wide the doors of the St. Emmeram Palace to as many guests as possible. And she's not just inviting them over for a cuppa and a chat, she's organizing events that would make even the most culture-starved aristocrat sit up and take notice. The Thurnand Taxis Palace Festival, for instance, has become a must-attend event on Europe's cultural calendar, touted as one of the top 10 festivals in the continent. It's an event that brings together high art, music, and the grandeur of their historic palace. The family isn't just flashing their wealth now, they're showcasing their taste, their appreciation for the finer things in life. But it's not just about the grandiose festivals. The family also hosts smaller, intimate events, like art exhibitions and wine tastings, sharing their refined tastes with a broader audience. Thus, in this modern era, the Thurnand Taxis have smartly recalibrated their image from the extravagant party throwers of yore to influential patrons of the arts. The family has proved that it's possible to adapt to changing times without losing an iota of their aristocratic charm. The parties might have evolved, but the Thurnand Taxis' status and influence remain undiminished. Prince Albert II of Thurnand Taxis, a man who's taken on the mantle of his storied lineage with a dash of panache and a sprinkle of modernity. After the death of his father, Prince Johannes, Albert became the head of the family at a tender age. But don't be fooled, he's not just a princely figurehead, he's a businessman, a philanthropist, and a race car driver to boot. Talk about wearing multiple hats, or should that be crowns? Then, of course, there's the indomitable Princess Gloria, the ex-socialite who's traded in her days of wild parties for a more sedate existence as a patron of the arts. Albert's sisters, Maria and Elizabeth, are also making their own marks, the former as an artist and the latter as a journalist, keeping the family flag flying high in the realms of arts and letters. Now, the Thurnand Taxis family is a hive of activity. There's the vast estates they manage, the beer they still produce under their family name, and the palace doors they've thrown open to the public. But it's not just about keeping the coffers full and the stately home busy, it's also about giving back. Albert's philanthropic ventures are a testament to that. But let's address the elephant in the room, the family's past reputation as the party animals of the European aristocracy. Yes, they used to be notorious for their extravagant shindigs and flamboyant lifestyles, but times change, and so have the Thurn and Taxis. Today, their parties have given way to more cultured events that celebrate art, music, and heritage. In a world that's forever evolving, the Thurn and Taxis have deftly managed to evolve too, shifting from the party animals of yesteryears to the distinguished patrons of arts and culture today. They've held on to their esteemed status while adapting to the changing times. And that, viewers, is a feat worthy of a toast, preferably with a glass of Thurn and Taxis brew. And now, we'd like to see your thoughts in the comments. Were you familiar with this party-living old money European dynasty before this video? And which old money European family would you like us to feature next here on Old Money Luxury? Let us know, and as always, thank you for your continued viewership. Cheers, until next time.